Hello and welcome back to Amy's Earth channel. Great to see you again. We have lots to do with this soap today. Actually terrified, have to say, because so much work has gone into this soap. So let's get cracking. First I am going to strain my lye into the soap very slowly. Slowly. There's a new word for you. Slowly. It even makes the word slowly sound slow. So I do not... Yes, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm very tired. It's been a long day. It's now about 9:30 at night. And there's been a lot of late nights in preparation for this soap, because not only is it extremely intricate on the inside, those of you who may have seen my other YouTube video will also know of the embeds that are going on the top. Embeds that have taken me lots and lots of time, I can tell you. But hopefully it'll all be worth it in the end. Okay, so as you may notice, we have a very full bucket of oils. That's because I am making 2 loaves today. The soap I'm making today is aimed, I suppose, at mummies and daddies who might want to buy a soap for the teachers of their children as a thank you gift. I'm not sure whether everybody around the world does it, but we certainly do it here in England and Scotland and Wales as a little thank you for looking after our little darlings. Okay. Do, because I have now got to not take my time, I can tell you, separating these oils into their layers. We are just past trace, which I've been told I should explain more, is the point where your oils and your lye are fully incorporated, therefore saponification can take place. Just about past trace, as you can see. Nothing breaks up, there are no grainy bits on my spatula. That is what trace is. My daughter, who watched one of my other videos, said, "Mum, you have to tell people what you're doing and what the things are called." So that's me told. I'm going to start with the cappuccino maker, which is a gorgeous little kind of chocolatey maker. I'm going to pour that in. I'm going to pour a bit, quite a bit, because as I'm doing 2 loaves, mess, I need quite a bit. I actually probably need more than that. I can see that as I'm looking at it, so I'm going to pour more. Here we go. By the way, if you hear strange noise in the background, I have the window slightly cracked here in the soap room because it's quite warm. And I live in the country where there are cows mooing madly, so please don't be alarmed, and rest assured it is not me making that noise. I love the country, I love the smells, yes, even the bad ones. To blend this a little bit more and then add a slight amount of titanium dioxide. So let's blend first. Okay, now this ordinarily darkens a little bit, which will act as the shelf. There you go, for those of you who have not seen the thumbnail of what this soap is. That gives you a little hint. Our 2 moulds. I am hurrying a little, simply because I want to get this in and it it needs to be liquid enough to be level. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Trying my best to get better at the camera. I can tell you it's a learning experience. All right. So we're back. I have taken the liberty of doing a few things while we're waiting for the setting up, simply because this is going to be quite an intricate soap and I don't want the soap batter to be super solid. Our base layer seems to have set up. I have tried a little in the pot swirl with the red riot and the golden shimmer, so I might try that first just to see. What we have here is our little tiny books. Now they may not quite appear as books, to be honest, at first. However, we have to think one bar of soap at a time. So I want this to be in the bar of soap, hence the reason I needed the cappuccino to set up. So this is what I said at the beginning when I said this soap quite terrifies me. I'm going to very gently place this in and hope to everything glorious that it doesn't sink. It hasn't. I'm going to take my tweezers and try and straighten that out a little bit. In we go. Again, quite terrifying. I know it's soap and I know at the end of the day it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because it is soap. However, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So what I've got here, as you can see, are my pages stuck in. I'm going to try to attempt to get that in that little gap, if it will go. I have measured, so it should, and if it doesn't, I might cry. Yes, on camera, I don't care. So, I never make things easy on myself. I don't know why I do this, but I never do. In. All right, now for the rest of our pages. These should very carefully slot into this gap. Oh no! See, I knew this would happen. Okay. So, alright, maybe this isn't going to work. So, plan B. You are saying there's a plan B? Well, in my head there's a plan B. So, let's see, shall we? And I'm now worrying that this is going to be too thick. However, it may be that thickness might actually be a godsend in a way. Or not. We'll see. And if I have floating pages, then I have floating pages. What is a girl to do? I think people will get the general gist, won't they? That it is pages of a book. I kind of hope so. Okay, so I'm now going to open my pages. I'm going to pry them open. Open. And if we have floating pages, then we have floating pages. Oh well. It's not like me to pick a particularly intricate soap, sure it's not. I mean, you can't say I do things by halves. Now, I'm going to let that sit, and it will set. And do you know what? That's the worst over. Floating pages as well. Right, one down, one to go. Book number 1. Gently, 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 gently. See, that's the problem with rushing, is if you let yourself get too distressed, you end up making it a complete disaster, and that's not good either. Nor is it worth it, because I'll tell you, I have spent 2 very, very late nights, and when I say late nights, I mean 4:45 and 4:45 in the morning, preparing for this soap. So I do not want to blow it all out of the water now by rushing or panicking, because there's no point, is there? That's the joys of soap making. Stuff happens, it doesn't always go to plan. Stuff happens that you thought would work. Because I'll have to be honest, these fitted in the slot earlier. I made the slot big enough, I know I did. But of course, for your entertainment, oh, I might actually, oh, they're staying, that's it. Happy days! Look at that! This is what I was meant to do earlier, was to set them up and then to pot them, like that, you see? So, there you go, all is not lost. They're just going to be slightly different on one soap than they are on the other, which is fine. Good grief. I don't think I've ever made such a mess in my life. Heavens above. Okay, so we're getting lighter, as you can see, to the top. And now I want to get it a little bit darker so it will contrast. So I'm going to use the rest of the red and the golden shimmer, just about in shot so you can see what I'm doing amongst my extremely, oh, I need to clean it up, it's driving my OCD insane. Yes, well, all good fun. I feel like I'm in nursery again. Okay, let's get this mess cleaned because I cannot look at it. Okay, our last bit of a shimmer before we add the brown. I don't want to use all of this because I do need the brown at the top. Let's just not worry. Don't panic! Don't panic! I don't know whether any of you are, what was it called? What was that film called with the chickens in? Chicken something. Anyway. And your wee woman with the knitting, she makes me laugh. So I'm now adding, so brown and yellow and red to resemble, you know, a kind of mahogany rosewood bookshelf, I suppose. Last pour. Oh yeah, look at that colour. Not sure the red has been completely swallowed. That looks like dairy milk. I love dairy milk. I love dairy milk. Fruit and nut. Fruit and nut is my favourite. My husband is very good. He buys it for me when I take a notion. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this colour comes out. Because, yeah, that was quite a bit of an experiment. I might want to texture the top a little. Not massively, to be honest, because to be fair, the embeds I'm going to put on this soap are seriously going to steal the show. I can promise you that right now. And here we have them. Probably the smallest books in the entire world. I did tell you they were going to be the star of the show, did I not? They are all made from the soap dough that I showed how to make in a previous video. Different colours, painted with mica. Because all I have to do is make sure that I put them in such a position that they don't get cut off. What we're going to do, I have the larger box, because obviously I didn't measure them all, I just painted as I went and created as I went, and there we are. So this is going to sit sideways like so, and yes, I'm not wearing my gloves. These are so delicate that I have a feeling I'm going to completely mess this up if I wear my gloves, and just be very careful in my placement. Okay, first one in. Woohoo! Now, to try and go down and make these as uniform as possible, as well as in the soap as possible. Not so far that you won't be able to see them, but certainly far enough so when I have to package my soap up and send them off, they will not fall off. Which, you know, when you're working with embeds, is always a worry. I pack my soaps very, very carefully. They are wrapped in biodegradable film. They are then placed in, I'm sorry, see, concentrating to do this and talk at the same time. I know I'm a woman and we're often told we multitask, but such is my expectation of this soap that there's a fear I'm gonna mess it up. Okay, where was I? Yes. Shredded, not cardboard, but certainly card paper. So shredded card paper is the thing that I use to pad my soap out, and they are then sent in recyclable cardboard boxes. So I have these all so that every colour is put in each bar. So I have a green soap facing this way, therefore I'm going to have my silver and my blue almost standing up as if they are in a bookshelf facing the opposite way. With all the effort that making these books took, I really do not want to chop any of them off with my soap cutter. So whilst I'm doing this and hoping that I can talk at the same time as place my books, I was reading something the other day which I thought was quite poignant. And it was about forgiveness. This person was saying how forgiving someone who had wronged them was so very, very difficult. I don't think there's anybody walking the earth, at least over the age of 10 years of age, who hasn't had some sort of an experience where they have been hurt by somebody or let down by somebody. It made me think about the actual purpose of forgiveness, and for quite a while I struggled to forgive too, until I came to the realization that forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about yourself. It's not about letting the other person off from what they have done, which is what many people struggle with, understandably. It's about giving yourself closure over whatever has happened. And yes, there are some things that are maybe not as serious in the needing closure department. There are other things that are indeed quite serious. And I suppose from my own experiences and from listening to many other people's, I would want to impart that people do forgive, but not for the other person's benefit, for their own. So that if it is you who is gaining from this situation, that you have some closure, that you're able to move on from whatever it was that happened. It's about being able to feel complete in yourself again. Because at the end of the day, holding on to this stuff hurts nobody else but you. It's not as if you suffering this great pain is causing the person who caused you pain any discomfort at all. Imagine if they lived a mile away, 3 miles away, 200 miles away. As you're sitting there with the pain of what has happened, that doesn't transfer over those miles. That doesn't affect those people at all. And there's a part of you that is allowing whatever this person did to you to cause you upset and hold power over you, which I don't know if you're anything like me. I don't like people having power over me. I don't think there's many people that do, if we're all entirely honest with each other. I think there's quite a few of us who would quite happily say, no, I'm sorry, you don't have power over me and you're not having it. So I suppose I'm not saying that forgiveness is easy. I suppose what I am saying is look at it from a perspective of your benefit rather than anybody else's. Forgiving somebody is not about them getting to feel better. Forgiving somebody is about you getting to feel better within yourself, because you don't even need to tell a person. You know, I mean, okay, if someone comes to you and says, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done, said, acted a certain way, please forgive me, then it's up to you to be able to, you know, come to a conclusion of whether you can forgive that person or not. But if those words haven't been spoken and you are in your own head, as we all very often are, let's be honest, deciding on whether to forgive this person, then that person doesn't even need to know that they have been forgiven if that was not something that you wanted them to know. The forgiveness is for yourself. The forgiveness is for you to move on. The forgiveness is for you to find your whole self and to not allow that person to have power over you. So I suppose my thought for the day is don't allow people to have power over you by holding on to things that have happened to you by somebody else in the past. They are likely not sitting there thinking about what they did to you, unless they're a nice person and a good person and, you know, their mistake was genuine, in which case they, you know, probably deserve your forgiveness because they didn't do it on purpose. That's not me saying who deserves forgiveness and who doesn't, by the way, so please don't take that as that. I suppose my point is you cannot be happy if you are holding on to pain that somebody else has caused you. You just can't. You can have bouts of happiness. You can have moments of happiness, you can have days of happiness, but you can't be a happy person if you're carrying around such heavy baggage. Who is benefiting from you carrying that baggage? Because nobody is. The answer is nobody. You're not benefiting, you're carrying the baggage. The other person probably doesn't even know you're carrying the baggage. So if you can, dare I use the frozen phrase, let it go. There we have it. I'm going to move one loaf out of the way and I'm going to attempt to bring you in, or bring the soap to you, let's be honest, because I don't want to move the tripod, for a close-up. What do you think? Will she do? Are you readers? Do we have any readers? If you do, let me know what your genre is. What do you enjoy reading? What's a page turner for you? What keeps you stuck in the seat, forgetting what time it is during the day, panicking because you should have made dinner already, or taking that extra 15 minutes skiving off web? Hello and welcome back to cutting our soap. I know the wire is in the way and I'm really hoping that you're in focus. Less chatter and more cutting, and let's see what our soap looks like on the inside. So I have, as you may notice already with the lines, pre-lined it up just to absolutely make certain that nobody gets lopped off. And I'm so thankful, absolutely you have no idea how thankful I am that not one single book, oh, maybe one tiny book gets a little tiny trim. However, I can survive with that. I've only one. And down we go. A little harder and down we go. Okay, now for the moment of truth. Okay, so my battery just died there for a second. So whilst I was charging the battery, so you can actually see the soap, I loosened everything up a little bit to make it easier to pull them out and show you. So let's go from the middle and see how we did. And there we go. That's what we're looking like. Trying to get you in focus. on the inside. I wonder actually if I move the soap cutter. Oh yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it, without that thing in the background. Okay, so here's our top. Here's our floating pages. Oh no, not too bad though, in all fairness. And I can't tell you which soap this one is, whether it was the one where the pages stayed in the groove or the one where they didn't, because honestly I can't remember, and I didn't mark my lows. So please tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm quite happy. I wasn't sure how it was all going to turn out. That's a bit of a wobbly page there. That looks like the whole book is going to go, doesn't it? Okay. There we go. And that one's a bit of a dodgy one. But it's soap. It's not art. Well, it's art, but, you know, I didn't draw it. Okay. So, how do you think I did, given the craziness of my idea? Because, you know, normal people wouldn't have done this. They'd have said, no way, that's nuts. Actually, I have to say, there are some rather amazing soap makers out there whose creations would make mine pale into insignificance, and they inspire me every day when I'm on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok and I see some of the creations of really highly dedicated people who have been doing this far longer than I have and really know their craft. And it's great to be supportive of each other in the soap community, in any community, really. There we go. What do you think of the colours? I'm actually really loving this kind of, I suppose what I wanted, which is why it went red and yellow. And yesterday, in the mad rush to not ruin my soap, the whole idea for the red and yellow soap colours was a book at a fireside, putting your feet up by the fire, that kind of idea. So I have my brown shelf. Now this will darken a little, not as dark as this obviously, because this didn't have any titanium dark side in it. And you can, no, if I bring you close to the camera you can't see a thing, but there are, take my word for it, very, very small kind of swells of red in there. Okay, will we do the other one? Not really sure what happened here. But we have a page on this side, but not on that one. So, no idea. And the same with this one. We don't have a page on this side either, but we have... suppose if I take that back a little bit, you can see the book. The good job is the soap is still soft, so I can just rub a tiny weeny bit away. So, we'll see. This one is much better, very clear. I'm not showing you the top of the soaps. So I'm not sure whether I mentioned the fragrance oil. So I used Festival Fall in my toffee apple soaps last October, and they went down an absolute treat. Everyone loved the toffee apple soaps and they loved the smell because it just smells of, you know, a festival and candy floss. And I thought, coming up to the summer holidays with festivals and the smell of donuts and all of that kind of thing, this smell would be ideal for this soap. So I've used the Festival Fall in this soap, which goes very well with the colours, because again, festival colours, sort of red and yellows and browns and greens and blues and silvers. Festivals are every colour, aren't they? Really. But the smell is lovely, so there we go. So, one more to go. Oh, dear me. So, that won't be going on sale. That's the end piece. So what I'm going to do, very much like the other end piece, as you can see, it's absolutely huge, is use my loaf cutter. I kind of looked at it then, I was like, oh, what's that? But it's the end piece, so there we have it. I think it was worth it in the end. What do you think? Or do you all just think I'm a little bit mad in the head? As usual, as always, thank you for watching me create wonderful soaps, and please, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. As I always mention, the algorithms of the gods of YouTube really do like people liking and subscribing, so all your efforts are truly appreciated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.